next 30 minutes. We'll take you through all the top stories on WION Speed News. Two Palestinian teenagers were shot dead by Israeli forces during weekly protests at the Gaza border. One of the two victims was a 14-year-old boy named Hassan Shalabi. Israeli defense forces say they were forced to use live ammunition to tackle protesters, hurling rocks and grenades at soldiers. Palestinians have been staging weekly protests since last March at the border of Gaza, an enclave controlled by the Islamist militant group Hamas and home to 2 million Palestinians. Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar has said that neither Ireland nor the European Union wish for a hard border or no-deal Brexit. Varadkar, who was speaking at a news conference in Belfast about the outcome of the Brexit negotiations, said, and I quote, "There's much more that unites us than divides us." Prominent Brexit campaigner Nigel Farage announced that he would stand as a candidate for a new Brexit party to contest European Parliament elections if Britain's departure from the European Union is delayed. Currently, Britain is due to exit the EU bloc within 49 days. Farage, in an opinion piece, said that in case the referendum is delayed, he will not stand by and do nothing. The acting U.S. Attorney General Matthew Whitaker said he has not spoken with President Donald Trump or any senior White House officials about the U.S. Special Counsel's probe into alleged Russian interference in the 2016 election. Speaking at the House of Representatives Judiciary Committee hearing, Whitaker added that he has not taken any action in the probe or interfered in any way. American Media Incorporated, that owns the National Enquirer tabloid newspaper, has responded to Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos' blackmailing claims. The company said it acted lawfully in its reporting on Jeff Bezos and said it would thoroughly investigate his claims of blackmail and take whatever action was necessary. Bezos has accused the newspaper of trying to blackmail him with the threat of publishing intimate photos that he allegedly sent to his girlfriend. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei said he will chant death to America as long as Washington continues to its hostile policy. Khamenei, however, added that the slogan is meant only for Donald Trump and other leaders and not for the American nation. Speaking at a gathering of Iranian Air Force officers marking the 40th anniversary of Iran's Islamic Revolution, Khamenei said, and I quote, "As long as America continues its wickedness, the Iranian nation will not abandon debt to America." Hundreds of supporters of an Iranian opposition movement known as the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran rallied in Paris. The rally marked the 40th anniversary of the revolution and demonstrations called for an overthrow of the government. Demonstrators, mostly consisting of Iranian exiles living in France, expressed support for Mariam Rajavi, the leader of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, who has been living in exile in Paris. A seeming headway in Yemen as negotiators say warring sides have agreed to extend the second round of discussions taking place in the capital Amman on Tuesday. Now both parties will work on their database of list of prisoners to be submitted to the UN in the coming days. Negotiators said they will also made progress on an exchange of prisoners and would consult with their leaders. A deal on a prisoner swap has stalled because each side seeks the release of more prisoners than the other claims to be holding. Turkish Foreign Minister said that Turkey and a number of other countries will soon submit a formal request for the establishment of a UN committee to investigate the killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. His comes after a UN Special Rapporteur Agnes Callamard said that Saudi Arabia had undermined Turkey's efforts to investigate the death, which she described as a brutal and premeditated killing. Friends and family of a New York woman who was found dead in a suitcase in Connecticut held a candlelight vigil in her honor. 25-year-old Valerie Reyes was reported missing on January 30th. Highway workers later found her dead body stuffed in a suitcase. No arrests have been made in the case so far.
My daughter was pure.
Everyone that met Valerie loved her. These past few days I've been getting messages from people.
Sooner or later he will get caught.
A Canadian man who shot dead 6 worshippers at a Quebec City mosque in January 2017 has gotten a life imprisonment sentence with no parole for 40 years. 29-year-old Alexander Bissonnette burst into the Quebec City mosque and unleashed a hail of bullets on the 40 men and 4 children who were chatting amongst themselves after evening prayers. Attack is considered the worst ever anti-Muslim attack in Canada. At least 10 people have been killed and 3 others injured after a fire broke out at a soccer club's boarding center in Rio de Janeiro. The lodging and training center belonged to soccer club Flamengo. Firefighters say that the ferocity of the blaze has completely gutted the state-of-the-art training center that was opened just a few months ago. Amongst those injured are 3 youth aged 14 to 15. Many of the injured are being treated for burn injuries. The cause of the blaze is yet being investigated. Thailand's king called his sister's bid for prime ministership as unconstitutional and unlikely. The king's 67-year-old sister stunned the nation when she announced she would be the sole prime ministerial candidate for the party in the upcoming March elections. The Thai king said that involvement of a high-ranking member of the royal family in politics is, in whatever way, is an act that conflicts with the country's traditions and customs. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered his second State of the Nation address in Cape Town. Ramaphosa expounded the country's development path across different fields and stated his country's policies. Ramaphosa came to power in February 2018 after former President Jacob Zuma was ousted by the African National Congress. The 66-year-old president has promised to revive South Africa's sluggish economy and tackle the deep-seated problems of corruption. Two people have been killed and several others injured as mudslides carrying rocks affected a remote area in Peru. The mudslides were caused by heavy rains that have battered the area for days. Villagers, in fact, are continuing to search for survivors underneath the rubble. Local authorities say clearing the mud and rocks from inside people's homes will be challenging and that rescue workers are working round the clock.
Queremos la seguridad.
In 3 separate incidents of liquor poisoning, at least 28 people lost their lives in India's Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. 12 deaths were reported in Roorkee city, while 8 deaths in Kushinagar town and Saharanpur city. Each were recorded after the incident came to light. Mass deaths from drinking toxic, low-quality liquor are common in India. Police say that 13 officials who were found to be guilty have been suspended so far. Jaguar Land Rover's owner Tata Motors stunned markets by posting the biggest ever quarterly loss in Indian corporate history of about $4 billion. Company's shares crashed as much as 30% after the announcement. A massive dip was blamed on collapsing sales in China. Jaguar chief executive Ralph Speed in a statement said that Jaguar Land Rover reported strong third-quarter sales in the UK and North America, but overall performance continued to be impacted by challenging market conditions in China. An annual orchid festival has kicked off at London's Kew Gardens. The festival will showcase a floral fair from Colombia this year. Visitors to the Princess of Wales Conservatory at the famous botanical gardens will be immersed in the sights and sounds of the South American country. The lowest movement in France has inspired street artists in Paris. A group of 19 street artists painted in northeastern Paris a 300-meter-long wall with iconic scenes from the protest. Artists painted protesters wearing high-visibility vests at the foot of the Arc de Triomphe and various other scenes of protesters clashing with riot police. A pre-World War II Alfa Romeo sold for a whopping $19 million at the Retromobile Classic Car Show in Paris. The car will now be passed on its fifth owner. A collector in the U.S. automobile experts at the Car Expo say the car's extravagant worth is defined by its technological features that include double compressors and an inline 8-cylinder engine. Tibetans in Lhasa city ushering the Tibetan New Year, or Losar as it is known. Scores of traditional dancers were seen performing Tibetan operas and other forms of Tibetan theatre on the streets. Crowds of tourists and locals thronged the city's famous Potala Palace to watch the festivities. Mountainous areas in northern and eastern China under the grip of an intense cold wave. The cold current has created a layer of crystal rime and snow on tree branches in many forests. Holidaymakers throng several scenic tourist spots to catch glimpses of the icy landscapes. French actress Juliette Binoche has defended veteran film producer Harvey Weinstein, who is accused of rape, harassment and sexual assault allegations by more than 80 women. While speaking at the opening press conference of Berlin Film Festival, the actress said, and I quote, "I almost want to say peace to his mind and heart. That's all you know. He had enough, I think. Justice has to do its work," unquote. She also reminded people of Weinstein's work by saying that he was a great producer. The duo has worked together on various occasions, including Chocolat and The English Patient, for which she was also given an Oscar. A 27-year-old has been ordered to stay away from Rihanna for 10 years after accepting the charges of stalking, identified as Edward Leon. A man broke into the singer's Hollywood Hills home on 9th May 2018 and was later found by the RIHANNA'S assistant, who then called the police. The convicted man is also sentenced to 5 years probation and 90 days of GPS monitoring. However, according to the report, Leon has pleaded no contest to felony counts of stalking, vandalism and misdemeanor count of resisting arrest, which means that he will not serve any jail time for the offence. Bollywood superstar Amitabh Bachchan attended the book launch of well-known actor Govind Namdev, titled Madhukar Shah. The book features the story of the book revolves around the life and bravery of a king of the same name during the period of 1842. While addressing the media, Bachchan praised Namdev for his acting and patriotism. He also applauded the book and thanked the latter for inviting him at the launch. Namdev, who's known for his negative roles in various movies, has worked with senior Bachchan in Ram Gopal Verma's critically acclaimed film Sarkar.